So in this video, I want to talk about how I was able to rewrite over 200,000 lines of code and rewrite a brand new application from the ground up using ChatGPT and a few other tools. Now, video is part of a bigger series. I'm kind of vlogging about my startup experience in transforming my application, rewriting the whole thing, re-architecturing the whole thing. If you haven't seen those videos or you're watching this one for the first time, go back and watch the previous one. I'm going to try to link to it either up here in the description or somewhere on this channel or in this video. So please go back and watch that, because then it'll help you to kind of get some context. However, just for the sake of giving some brief context in case you haven't watched those videos, this is my application. It's a application that's focused on productivity for contractors, etc. I'm actually rewriting it for multiple reasons. One of them including that this tool could be used for multiple different industries, and so as a result of that, I'm re-architecting the entire thing from the ground up to solve some of the problems for some of the other industries that I'm dealing with, and that's basically what this is about. So with that, there's lots of complexities here. You could do quotations, you could do purchase orders, work orders, etc. There's so many things that you can do inside of here, and depending on the type of business, you could manage your projects, you could manage your calendar, your schedule, etc. Rewriting the entire thing from the ground up, focusing on some things, made some controversial decisions, and that's what we're going to kind of talk about. But I'm also showing you my thought process and how I've been able to accomplish weird thing. And then if you look at my linked thing, so this is a private repo. But if you look at my productivity, here you will see commits. So actually not this one here. I think it's code frequency. Yes, here. So if you notice, I started on the 26th of May, decided I'm going to rewrite the entire commit. Look at this is just one developer, just to be clear, 5,000 lines of code, 10,000 lines of code, 30, 15K, right, 20K lines of code, and then it's starting to taper off a little bit in terms of monthly contribution. So that's just to give you an idea of the scale in which I've been able to just create code for this application. Now, the speed in which ChatGPT has been able to help me to accelerate just a sheer amount of code and deal with a lot of the complexities, etc. I'm hyper focused on productivity, and ChatGPT is significantly helping in that regards. And just to show you, just to prove that I'm not going crazy here, this is the old application. Is a .NET application. Sorry, this is not the old application. This is one of the old application. And if I look at so ignore all of this craziness here, but if I go to Project Earth and then I go to get lines of code, so this is just a PowerShell script that will actually allow you to get lines of code. See, if I run that, it'll show me this is Project Earth. So my projects are named after planets, if you haven't noticed. 114,000 lines of code. That's one application, and then the other main application is this one here, and this one has. So the Project Earth is written in .NET 4.8 framework. And then this here is in Azure Functions, the earlier stuff, Azure Functions Core, so like .NET Core 3, something around that, right? Or 4, something like that, .NET Core 3, and until they change all the names or whatever. So it just needs a full rewrite, not 100,000 lines of code. And then there's like a whole bunch of small applications. So with that, just to give you some context in terms of things. So in this video, what I want to do is I just want to talk about sort of like how I'm thinking about the architecture going forward. We've been talking a lot about the architectures in the previous ones, but those were just about some of the problems, etc. Here I want to talk about some of the things that I want to improve. One of the biggest ones, I'm going to jump on that one right away. One of the biggest ones, and again, for YouTube purposes, this is dummy data. Just want to be clear, YouTube, do not take down my video, because this is dummy data. It's all fake data. I can't stress that enough, YouTube, so please do not take down my video. Okay, so if you notice, every time I make a change here, the application makes a change. If I keep typing, it'll just keep saving. It's saving, but it's not actually saving. The minute I stop, 500 milliseconds later, save it. It's saved. So it's always saving in real time, and it's micro updating one specific row in the database, a row and a specific column. right? That's how it's working. Every field is mapped to a specific thing. So that's kind of how it's set up, okay? So these are some controversial decisions that I made. But anyway, just want to talk about that for a bit. Now, when you click on the preview button here, what it's actually doing is just creating a Microsoft Word application, and it's generating it, and it's actually saving it on the back end. Now, what's happened from a technical standpoint, just so you understand what's going on there, is when that change happened on the front end, it sends it to the back end, it drops it onto a queue. Okay, it drops it onto a queue, and that queue actually has a function that picks it up, measure function that picks it up, and then basically goes to the database, gets all the data, and then sends it onto another queue. We call it a print queue. Okay, and that print queue sits on a VM, because this is how we were doing it before, sits on a VM, and actually, literally, the code opens up Microsoft Word, populates the data inside of it, closes Microsoft Word, saves a PDF version, and then dumps it back into blob storage, and then basically pushes it back into the database, and then sends you back out the actual sort of file. That's basically what's happening behind the scenes. So this VM here is extremely heavy and extremely complex, just for like a really small console application. And in my testing, to keep the performance sub 5 seconds, it takes a little time because it's a little slow. The code, I'll talk about how we improve it, but sub 5 seconds, we need a fairly decent sized database. So it's actually costing about $350 per month. Just on that database, just on that one little application, and it's extremely inefficient to do things that way in this modern architecture. So let me just talk quickly about the thing, because this I'm going to push this video a little bit because I'm actually up against time. I have to leave. So what we want to do is first of all, we're going to rewrite this entire application. We're going to rewrite it, and what we've opted to do is to containerize the application. We're going to put it on Linux, and we're going to use open source technology. We're going to put it on Linux, and basically it's going to do the exact same thing, except that it doesn't actually have to physically open up Microsoft Word. What it's going to do is it's just going to manipulate the Microsoft Word XML, update that data, and then it's going to send you back out the details. Why Word? You probably might be asking, like, why Microsoft Word? Because frankly, it's the most common used format, and most of our customers, the customers that we've had in the past, they all have Microsoft Word documents that they use. So that format allows them to design their document any which way that they want, hand it to us, and then we can basically just manipulate it, populate data on top of it without having to think about them trying to translate their design into some sort of weird online web random tool, right? So the clients that we deal with, and as a result of that, that's the way that they're working. However, in my testing of this, I'm now, and I'll talk about the test and we'll go into the technology, but this is just sort of high level setting. We've been able to get this down from some 5 milliseconds to like 1 second, doing every single thing, PDF and all that stuff, because this is between 5 to 10 seconds, to be honest with you. It's a little bit slower than I'd like. So that's the reason, and not to mention that this will scale based on the queue. So it'll automatically scale up or down based on the queue, because we're using Azure containers, containers. We're using Azure containers, so it'll scale up and scale down based on the queue. We'll talk about all those details in another video, but I just wanted to level set so at least you could understand what are some of the core principle and technology sort of in the back end altogether. And so how I've been able to move so fast with this entire thing, like I said, I'm up to about so let me just pull up the actual application and just kind of show you how far I'm with it. So this is a PowerShell script that I could run, and it'll do it against a database. I showed this before, but I just think again, if for context, you have to go back and watch the previous videos. Okay, it'll help you out quite a bit. But if I run this, you'll see I'm up to 23,000 lines of code, right? So 23,000 lines of code on this entire application, and I made significant progress. And the cool thing is I've used 90% of it is ChatGPT. Now I've architected the entire thing. We'll go into all the details about the entire architecture in another video, but this video is just for me to kind of just give you sort of a very high level of all of the different moving parts, and so you can understand sort of the back end, and we'll talk about some of this stuff in a bit. So with that, I'm going to cut this video, Please subscribe to the channel. You're going to see more videos like this coming out about the architecture, the details, and then feel free to add some comments in the details in the comments. So let me know what is it that you want me to focus on these videos, and I'm more than happy to do a deep dive on them. So with that, please subscribe to the channel, and if you're interested in more productivity type stuff, this is the channel for you. We'll talk about those details, all raw, all unfiltered, just as the thoughts come on my head. Hopefully you get some value from them. All right, have yourself a wonderful day. Thanks.